All right, so get ready because we're diving deep into a world where art gets a little spooky. We're talking about a cursed painting, and we've got first-hand accounts, news articles, even opinions from experts. It all went down at the National College of Arts in Lahore. We're talking spooky stories, ancient curses, and two students who find themselves right in the middle of it all. So is this just a tall tale, or is there something more going on?
You know what I think is really fascinating? It's the setting. The National College of Arts. You think of art schools and it's all creativity and expression, right? But this story, it kind of turns that idea upside down, turns this place of art into a place of, well, fear and uncertainty.
Yeah. I mean, it's an annual art exhibition, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be all about showcasing the students' work. And right in the middle of it all is this vintage painting, giving off some seriously unsettling vibes. Picture this. An elderly woman just staring right at you with these piercing eyes coming from the canvas. Oh, and there's more thick rope barriers surrounding it and the sign that just says, cursed.
That sign, that's what really gets me. It's like it's playing on our fascination with the forbidden, that classic don't open this door kind of warning. By calling it cursed, it's like the college is adding to the mystery, drawing people in even while they try to keep them away.
It's like a dare almost.
Yeah.
Right. And that's exactly what hooks our two NCA students, Merosh Javed and Sam Safter. They're known for pushing boundaries, a little rebellious, you could say. So this cursed painting, it becomes their next big artistic challenge. They decide to capture its aura for a project they're working on, even with all the rumors and the spooky stories surrounding it.
Yeah, their rebellious side, it definitely plays a part here. I mean, it's not just about art. It's about testing the unknown right, proving they're not scared of a superstition. But the thing is, this act of defiance, well, it kicks off a chain of events that they never could have predicted. It's like classic youthful curiosity mixed with a bit of bravado that leads them down a dangerous path.
Yeah, it's like walking straight into a horror movie. And they even get warnings. The system manager is setting up cameras around the painting, wants to catch any paranormal activity on film. And Aisha Mariam Durrani, the head of miniature painting and printmaking, even tries to warn them about the potential danger.
Hold on, think about that for a second. The system manager's setting up cameras. That means even the authorities are kind of acknowledging that something strange might be going on. It makes those rumors seem a bit more real, blurs the line between what's real and what's supernatural. And then Aisha's warning adds this whole other layer. It's personal. It's like she knows something more than she's letting on, almost begging them to reconsider.
But curiosity, well, you know how that goes. Despite the warnings, Merosh and Saim decide to see for themselves what this curse is all about. And so they touch the painting.
This is the moment everything changes. Up until now, it's all been talk, rumors, warnings. But that touch, it's the catalyst. The action that takes them from the ordinary into the supernatural. It's like opening that forbidden door.
And things instantly get strange. The lights start flickering. And Saim, he gets this weird mark on his wrist. It's like a bruise that just appears out of nowhere. Merosh, she feels this icy jolt go through her like a warning shot straight from the painting. And as they try to step back, something even weirder happens.
This is where we really see what this curse is all about. It's not just a feeling or a creepy atmosphere. It's immediate. It's visceral. It's deeply personal.
Merosh tries to move more than a couple of meters away from Saim, and she starts to suffocate, like she can't breathe. It's like the painting has created this invisible link between them, and breaking that link, well, it could be deadly.
This is what I find fascinating. The way this curse affects them physically. It makes them dependent on each other. Their lives are intertwined in a way they could never have imagined. It's like the curse is manipulating the most basic human need, the need to breathe, to exert its power.
And that's where their journey really begins, this deep dive into the heart of this curse. What started as a rebellious act trying to capture the essence of a cursed painting turns into a fight for survival. Their fates are tied to this Lady of Shadows, and they need answers fast.
The stakes have been raised. And this curse, it's just revealed its first terrifying layer. Now the question is, can they unlock the secrets of this painting and break free? Or will they be consumed by the Lady of Shadows' power?
So now you've got these two art students suddenly linked together by this invisible force. I mean, can you imagine the panic, the confusion, trying to figure out what's going on while also trying to, breathe? And for Saim, things are even more complicated.
Right. It's not just about surviving something supernatural. It's about real-life relationships and responsibilities. Saim's already married, and this curse, well, it's forcing him to face some tough questions about his marriage, his sense of duty, his whole life, really. How do you even begin to explain this to your wife? How do you balance taking care of someone you're magically bound to with honoring your vows?
And how do you even start to break a curse you don't understand? Luckily, they have a starting point. That old Arabic book that was displayed next to the painting. You know, that classic trope, ancient text holds the key kind of thing. Well, in this case, might be their only hope.
That book adds such an interesting layer to the story. It suggests that this curse isn't just some random thing. It's connected to something bigger, something older. And think about it. To understand the book, they need help. They have to rely on someone else. It shows that even when facing something supernatural, human connection can be powerful.
So they find Professor Ahmed, who's a linguistics expert, to translate the book. In the meantime, Saim has to tell his wife, Aisha. Now, in most horror stories, this is where the relationship falls apart, right? But Aisha, her reaction is totally unexpected.
Aisha's character is amazing. Instead of freaking out, she's understanding and compassionate. She welcomes Marash into their home. She sees that they're both victims of this crazy situation. It really shows the power of empathy. Even when things get weird, human relationships can be incredibly strong.
Exactly. You'd expect drama, jealousy, maybe even a fatal attraction kind of vibe. But Aisha becomes part of their support system. She even has a theory about the curse. She thinks it might be affecting them differently because of their genders, which would explain why Marosh can't breathe while Saim seems fine.
That's a really insightful theory. It suggests the curse isn't just some random force. It's smart manipulative, maybe even using those societal expectations and gender roles to its advantage. Makes you wonder if it's intentionally exploiting those power dynamics to get what it wants.
Saim, though, he's really against involving anyone else, especially when it comes to testing the curse's limits with another woman. He's very protective of Marosh and his wife. He's walking this incredibly tightrope between his commitments and this increasingly strange situation.
His protectiveness makes sense. It even seems admirable, but it also shows his inner struggle. He's carrying the responsibility for two women, trying to keep them both safe while dealing with his own guilt and uncertainty. It shows his character. Even in this chaos, his loyalty and compassion are strong.
And just when it seems like things can't get more complicated, Professor Ahmed finishes the translation, and there's a glimmer of hope. The book suggests that physical touch can actually store energy, and that can temporarily relieve the curse's effects.
That solution is both interesting and kind of problematic. It forces them into constant physical contact, makes you think about personal space and the social implications and how they handle that in a world that doesn't understand what they're going through.
So picture this: two students holding hands everywhere they go on campus. They're trying to blend in while fighting a supernatural curse. Awkward much. People stare, whisper, make assumptions. Saim's constantly explaining, "No, we're not a couple. I'm married." It's a long story. It's a performance trying to act normal when nothing is normal.
It shows that clash between the extraordinary and the mundane. They have this life-altering curse, but they still have classes, friends, the everyday stuff of college. Even with the supernatural, life goes on. And that need for normalcy is crucial.
They figure out that the longer they hold hands, the longer the relief lasts. But constantly touching, well, that becomes a problem. Especially for Saim, who's trying to balance his marriage with keeping Marosh safe. It's like an impossible situation.
The curse doesn't give them an easy answer. It throws them into this constant cycle of adapting and compromising. They're always weighing the risks and benefits of managing the curse against the consequences of their actions. It's a high-stakes balancing act with their lives on the line.
And just when they think they're getting a handle on things, they stumble upon something truly terrifying. While researching online, they find an account from a former NCA student, Mazuma Zera. She experienced a similar curse years ago. And get this, Masuma's student roll number is the same as Marosh's.
Classic horror movie moment, right? They discover they're not alone. This curse has a history, a pattern. It's not random, it's targeted, maybe even cyclical. The stakes are higher now. It's not just about their survival, it's about breaking a cycle that might have claimed other victims.
Creepy, right? So they contact Masuma, and she confirms their suspicions. And she gives them one very important piece of advice. Talk to Usama, a demonologist who specializes in curses. It's their first real hope that someone out there might actually understand what they're dealing with.
Usama's a game changer. He represents specialized knowledge, someone outside of normal science and medicine. He offers a chance to really understand the curse, maybe even break it. But there's also risk. Dealing with the supernatural is tricky. Usama's involvement could have unexpected consequences.
Their meeting with Usama is intense. He confirms that the painting is connected to an entity called the Old Lady, and her goal, terrifying. She wants to completely merge Seema and Marosh's souls.
Chilling, right? The curse goes from speculation to a real, tangible threat. And merging souls, that's not just some physical bond. It's about losing yourself completely. It raises the stakes to a whole new level. Now it's not just about survival, it's about saving their very essence.
To manage the curse, Usama suggests a blood injection ritual. Sane's blood into Marash. This sounds crazy, right? Like something from a dark fairy tale. But they're desperate. They'll try anything.
The blood injection ritual is fascinating. It shows how far they're willing to go, this blurring of science and magic in their search for a solution. It also makes you think about the curse itself. If blood can help, what does that mean? Is it biological, spiritual, something else entirely?
And then things get even more complicated.
Yeah.
Usama pulls Sam aside for a private chat and tells him there might be a permanent solution. Marriage.
Whoa. That throws a wrench in things. It kind of makes sense though, right? If the curse wants them bound, a permanent bond might appease it. But morally, that's a tough one. Sam's already married. This solution would mean sacrificing one relationship to save another. It's that classic dilemma. Do the ends justify the means?
Sam says no right away. He's committed to his wife. They go ahead with the blood injection, and at first it seems to work. Marash feels better. But then things get really strange. It's like the curse is adapting to their attempts to control it.
That's a turning point. The temporary relief is a double-edged sword. It gives them a taste of normal, but it also makes them complacent. And by messing with the curse's mechanics, they might have made things worse. Unintended consequences. It happens all the time in the supernatural world.
Maro starts seeing things. She feels her personality blending with Same's. Same hears a voice whispering, "It's over." It's like the blood ritual helped with the breathing, but unleashed something way more sinister.
That's where the psychological horror really takes hold. Merging personalities, losing yourself. Terrifying, right? And that voice, it adds this feeling that it's inevitable, like the curse is getting stronger and more confident.
They're in uncharted territory now. Their minds and souls are at stake. And as things spiral out of control, the idea of marriage as a solution comes up again. Even more tension. Same's torn between his loyalty to Aisha and the desperate need to save Marosh. It's a heartbreaking choice.
That inner conflict is what makes Sam's character so interesting. He's not just a victim. He's making choices, facing impossible dilemmas, trying to do what's right when every option seems wrong. It's human nature under pressure. The choices we make when faced with the unthinkable.
It's like this curse, it's toying with them, right? Revealing itself one terrifying layer at a time. They think they've got a handle on it, then bam, new symptom, new danger. And this time it gets really personal.
That's how curses work in a lot of traditions. They're not static. They feed off the energy of their victims. They change and adapt. It makes you feel powerless, like you're constantly reacting, never in control.
Marosh finds this strange mark on her back, this intricate swirling symbol. Usama says it's a binding mark, the old lady's signature.
That mark, it's like a visual representation of the curse's power, a brand. Like she's marking her territory saying, Marosh is mine.
And it's not just a mark, it's like it's alive. Marosh feels this intense heat and she starts having disturbing visions. And this time Sang isn't even close to her. The heat's coming from inside her. The old lady isn't just near, she's in.
That's a major shift. It shows how insidious this curse is. It can get inside your mind, your very being. It's a total violation.
Samers runs to Usama, desperate for answers. But the news is bad. The blood injections aren't working anymore. The curse is changing too fast. The only way to stop it, break the bond. But that means...
This is the climax, the moment of truth. They have to face the real cost of this curse, and the only option, severing the bond. It's brutal. It's a classic horror trope. Freedom from evil always comes at a price.
Death. Usama's blunt about it. One of them has to die to break the curse. It's a horrible realization that even with all this supernatural stuff, sometimes the laws of nature win.
And that's what makes this story different. It's real. There's no magical fix. They have to face the consequences. It makes you think about sacrifice and love and how far you'd go to save someone.
Sam ignores Usama's warnings and races to Marash. She's getting worse and he knows time is running out. The curse intensifies and Sam hints at a solution, something drastic. But the episode ends there. What's he going to do? Sacrifice himself. Is there another way out?
That cliffhanger. It leaves you wondering about Sam's decision. What would you do in that situation? Is there a right answer? Or are some choices just about picking the least awful option?
So we leave you with this. What would you do? Love versus survival. Impossible choices. The Lady of Shadows might be trapped in that painting, but the questions she raises, they stay with you. Even in a world that's all logic and reason, the unknown can still mess with us. Test our limits. And force us to face the deepest mysteries of who we are.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.